everybody, Hithrael here again, this time bringing you the Beni Zilal. As in some of my more recent previous videos, I'm going to run through the troops, going to show what they look like loaded up in battle, and then I'll swap over to the mod that I've created and how they look. So as best I could tell, the Beni Zilal are supposed to be somewhat modified after the Jeannettes, which were in Spain during the Moorish conquests. So kind of a light spear-thrown cavalry unit. Starting with the recruit, athletics 5, riding 40, one-handed 30, two-handed 5, polearm 50, bow 10, crossbow 5, and throwing 50. So pretty handy with their spears and on a horse. As you can see, they've got kind of the Asserai look going on, pilgrims' hoods, plenty of javelins, a spear, and a horse. Moving up to the soldiers, they've got padded robes, still keeping with the pilgrim's hood, have the Eastern-style throwing spears, Eastern-style spear, on a warhorse. In terms of their stats, athletics 20, riding 90, one-handed 30, two-handed 10, polearm 60, bow 30, crossbow 10, and throwing 80. So again, a little bit better with throwing, but still pretty handy with a spear. Lastly, moving on to the Royal Guard, they have upgraded to full chain armor with leather skirt, still stuck with those pilgrims' hoods, and then back to the Western javelins and spear, and lastly riding a very heavily barded warhorse. In terms of stats for the Royal Guard, athletics 65, riding 110, one-handed 60, two-handed 15, polearm 110, bow 25, crossbow 15, and throwing 95. So really they didn't get that much better than the tier 4 version. Polearm's markedly better, throwing's not that much better. But again, a nice kind of stately progression through these three units. In my mod, I'll talk about their stats didn't need a lot of tweaking because they're actually just about in the right place. They're not overpowered or underpowered for where they're at. I'm going to load up the 3D models right now so we can see the recruit. Padded robe, plenty of javelins, they've got a sword, nice chestnut in the background. Soldiers, padded robes, padded gloves. Again, javelins and a sword, and their warhorse in the background. Lastly, the Royal Guard, so quite an upgrade in terms of armor. They've got the mail chausses, mail mittens, mail armor, leather shoulders, plenty of throwing spears, and even longer sword. And then again, their fully barded warhorse. So, let's go do something crazy. We'll go attack my favorite town of Larnac. And actually, what we will do is just reconfigure them really quickly. 1, 2, 3. Be part of 5. Save that. Okay. The unit groupings didn't quite save. So we'll just take a quick walk through their lines. So in our primary grouping, you can see here we've got the highest tier and second tier. A couple of variants have actual helmets on. Again, kind of the closed face look throughout. And then our recruits have the entirely covered faces, and again with the lighter robes. So overall, a very good, consistent themed look for these units. Something that I really enjoy. A couple that don't have the face coverings, but overall very good looking cavalry faction. So for those who don't want to look about the mod, you can go ahead and stop here, and I'll load up in a little bit once I have everything set up with the modded version. Thank you all. Back in a minute. Okay, everybody, I'm back. So, with my modded version, the Beni Zilal recruits have been given Adarga shields all the way through the entire line. Recruit, Soldier, Royal Guard. I'll run through the stats, pull up the 3D models again, then we'll load up into combat a little bit. So the recruits here, basically the same stat line as they had before. Athletics 5, riding 40, one-handed 30, two-handed 5, polearm 50, bow 10, crossbow 5, throwing 50. Really the change here was giving them just the Adarga, took away the sword. For the soldier, took away the sword, gave them an Adarga, and in terms of their stat line, athletics 10, riding 90, one-handed 35, two-handed 10, polearm 60, bow 30, crossbow 10, throwing 85. Lastly, with the Royal Guard, athletics 30, riding 110, one-handed 50, two-handed 15, polearm 115, bow 45, crossbow 15, throwing 100. So pretty much the same stats. The stats of these guys, as I said earlier, were all in good shape. Tweaked the equipment a little bit. They're supposed to be lighter cav, and so tweaked a little bit of their armor to make them just a little bit lighter, particularly the Royal Guard. So they've still got this pretty decent medium to medium heavyweight armor now. But in all the images I could find, the helmets here seem to be more indicative of kind of the Spanish Iberian style helmet that the Jeannettes were using in this period. So I tweaked it, most of them to having the kettle cap, and then their horses have the much lighter armor. Again, they're supposed to be quick, fast, light cav, and then also lightened up the armor so that they've got leather gloves and suede boots rather than the mail look throughout. Even the most heavily mailed images and illustrations and research really did not have more than like a mail hauberk on. So that's the look in the armor that I've given them. And let's pop in for a little bit closer 3D look. So here's our recruits. You can see their Adarga shield, lance javelins, pretty much the same thing you saw last time. Same thing with the soldiers, except for I've given them just a little bit heavier armor now. Again, match some of the illustrations and research I was able to do. And again with the Adarga shield. And then the Royal Guard, again, lightened up their armor quite a bit, but they do have a heavier Adarga. So, we will zip over. Let's go pick on Valenby this time. So, we'll have a walk through our troops here. We can see that they've all got their throwing javelins out. Right here's our soldier, so the tier 2. Bear my banner mod, so he's also got the flag. Our tier 3 Royal Guard with that nice heavy armor throughout. Our recruit, lightly armored. Got their nice little saddles, saddle blankets. But again, just kind of a nice step up throughout for this cavalry unit. Just to make them look a little bit more consistent, a little bit lighter cav. Should also make them very nice and fast. I might go pick on a larger armor really quickly, just to see how the cav fares and how the AI handles them. But just a quick little assault there. And we'll send them in on a charge. But with their high speed, light overall weight, light saddles, light equipment, these guys should be nice and very quick. And there's my poor little companion. So, no surprise, they're taking out the handful of archers very easily. So we'll just let them wrap up really quickly. There we go. Wow, that's a nice big group of looters. So you know what? I will just go pick on them. And we'll just see how the AI wants to deal with them. I presume it's going to be a pretty quick charge in. Hopefully using plenty of their javelins up, which is what they're supposed to do as light cav. And so there we go. Initial charge, they swung to the flank. Plenty of javelins being tossed. Now they're working their way through the rest of that formation after breaking it up. So, but it is good to see that they are trying to do a bit more of that light cav roll, using their throwing weapons and such, and then getting in range with their spears. So that is the Beni Zilal for you. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a good day. Cheers.